Hello and welcome to Love Island, the Morning After podcast, where we discuss our favourite TV show and everything that happened the night before.
We'll be with you for the whole series, so if you haven't watched or listened before, make sure you hit subscribe.
I'm Indiyah Polack, and this morning we're going to be joined by the lovely Amy Hart and the wonderful Mariam Musa. Ooh. Ladies, I think we should put our hands together. Yeah. And I would like for us to join together in a prayer. Amy, would you like to take it away?
Okay, let's have an amazing podcast and hope that Patsy and Mimii have a safe journey home. Amen.
Woo! Let's get into it. Good morning.
Right. Well, Patsy and Mimii, goodbye, my friend.
We saw it coming though. We did. We have to admit it.
Yeah, I think it was just the harsh truth of it's Love Island, not Friend Island.
Yeah.
We could see that Patsy and Mimii, it was very much a friendly couple.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're getting into week 2 now and neither of them have found like a spark or romantic connection with anyone. So
it's not a usual week 2. It's like a week 6, week 2. So it's like, there were 6 of them that were at risk of being dumped. We had Harriet and Sean, Omar and Umar. And Patsy and Mimii. And the other 4, they've got like, it might be a teeny tiny connection in Sean's case, but there were connections there. Yeah. Whereas Mimii and Patsy, sadly,
there
was no irons in the fire.
I don't think there was any strong connection with them and anyone else in the villa. Mimii, Patsy
tried.
maybe with Omar, but Mimii, there was
nothing.
Absolutely no one.
I feel kind of bad for him because I feel like when we were saying in the beginning, it was kind of hard to find who his character was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if he wasn't going to be the guy that everyone was in love with and liked in that way, maybe he would have been like the Joker, or you know how sometimes you always find the hopeless guy that you just can't help but keep and save, and he just wasn't that, which is kind of sad. And then with Patsy, I kind of feel bad because I feel like she really grafted. She was confident, she went for what she wanted, and like I said, being the oldest in there, I feel like she probably felt more pressure to have to go and fight for it and stuff. And that's why I felt I wish someone was in there that genuinely liked her and wanted a bit of her.
Was it yesterday morning? You were literally saying you want someone to come in and be like, I want Patsy, like no sort of like, oh, the doors are open or I'm ready my options just for her. And we saw her say that last night, so it's a little like, sad because like we all wanted it for her.
Yeah. But it's just one of them things. I personally think like they were the right couple to go, unfortunately, but I think the other 2 couples, like there's still things that are seem unfinished.
Business.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say about like the character because I've realised that although he probably hates the fact that 6 years on he's still referred to as this, but there isn't really a Dr. Alex this year.
Yes.
I feel like Sean was in the running for it, but he hasn't really cracked on with enough girls to be the Dr. Alex. And I feel like we might have a year without one.
What is the Dr. Alex?
Everyone he goes to just bins him off.
Yeah. And you just have this soft spot for him. Like the nation love him. Yeah. He seems so genuine. But you know, kind of like the guy that isn't used to maybe getting loads of girls or having the riz. But Sean, I feel like that's happening to Sean a little bit because when he was having that conversation with Jess, he was really laying it. Like he was being so sweet, and I will probably go into it. But I just wish Jess would focus on Sean. If you want a guy to be rattled, give interest to someone else. And me and Indiyah were talking about she would have probably been in the best position if she did focus on Sean because if Harriet's the person that's kind of under your skin or in the way, that's 2 guys she's technically some sort of connection with. So if you focus on that, you would have been winning, I think, personally.
I think let's briefly talk about Omar. And then we'll get into the shapes. We love it. We're shapeshifters. Right. So Omar was saved because the girl said he needs more time to get to know the girls. Like Mimii's had a chance. Omar needs more of a chance. So obviously there was 2 girls he was talking to. Patsy said, I want someone to be all for me. I don't want someone to say the door's left open. I want them to be all for me. And she wants that true love story. Is that a bit unrealistic in the villa?
No, I don't think it's unrealistic. I feel like, it might be a bit hard because you're not really sport for choice in the villa. Like as a girl, you've probably got about 6 guys to choose from and there's a billion people in the world. But it's not unrealistic. I think the villa is the best place to be delusional. Because there's no mobile phones.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any outsiders. You're there in the face. Like, you get to do things that you probably wouldn't get away with doing outside.
Yeah.
Like, seeing them every night and coupling up in bed with them after 2 weeks.
Yeah, and like it's less competition, is it, as well? Because, you know, all right, like the Jess and Harriet thing, like they've obviously got competition with each other. But if they were on the outside, they'd have like another like 500 million women as well.
And I feel like also having competition in the villa, it's nothing. Like, okay, I could just clock you out. I so do your hair and makeup. I'll do mine better tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. Competition over. But I want to like break this down in our like women community that there's no such thing as a fairy tale. There absolutely is. Just believe it. Be so delusional.
I agree.
Just be delusional, and like guys will like slowly catch on.
I feel like if you give off princess treatment, like I feel like I give off princess personally. Like I want fairy tale and I don't care. I'm living that delusion. And it's like with me, you see what you get. If you can't give me that, you'll know. And I feel like you said, Indiyah, like it's like what you make of it. If you want to be courted and you don't want a guy that, you're going to let him chase you. You're going to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes guys will be like, oh, you know, no guy's going to accept that, or no guy's going to run up.
The right one will.
They will actually.
Yeah, the right one will.
They will, it's just not you. I feel like you're never asking too much from the right person.
I agree.
Like if it's like, oh, it's too much, it's just not the right one.
I agree.
Literally.
I always used to say as well, like when people used to say to me, like, oh, why haven't you had a boyfriend? I'm like, I'm too much for some people and not enough for other people.
Yeah.
They were like, no, like they're just the wrong people. You need to find. And I have found someone that I am perfectly right for.
Yeah.
This is where potentially a little bit too much sometimes.
So you do your signature.
Okay, sorry. Fairy tales exist, guys.
I love that. I mean, so Omar, he actually did pick Umar and he wanted to be in a couple with her.
Yeah.
He actually made a reference saying how Mimii was more like champagne and Umar was more like
fine wine.
How do we feel about that?
I wondered where he was going with it.
Yeah.
When he was like, I walked in and Mimii was like, champagne. I was like, right.
Yeah,
how are you going to get out of this?
Yeah, because like champagne for me is at the top.
Yeah, champagne's quite
expensive.
nice.
Like, it's one of the top
champagne
like,
ain't cheap.
alcohol. Yeah.
I mean, they're both very good drinks. And I'm going to, for his sake, say that he was saying they're two great drinks and I just can't compare.
Yeah.
Because I would hope that he's not trying to compare them and sort of like be like one's better than the other. Because they're absolutely not. And I feel like one thing when I'm like personally, when I'm speaking to a guy, don't mention another girl.
No,
and if you're going to mention another girl, don't you dare try and badmouth her around me. Because for me, that is an ick.
Yeah, like, it's a red flag.
You don't need to bring someone else down to lift me up.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that.
I agree with that.
But speaking of drinks, if you guys were a drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, what do you think you'd be?
I'll start. I feel like I was thinking a strawberry daiquiri, but actually I am a porn star martini.
Nice.
I'm fruity, I'm fun, and then that kick of that Prosecco.
Yeah.
Kicks you right up your backside.
You know what? I think I'd be tequila, and I actually do have a tequila shot title. So right on my street, some nice tequila or like a spicy margarita.
Yeah.
Nice.
Picante.
Yeah. What about you, Amy?
I would say rosé because I'm sometimes sweet, sometimes a bit dry.
Nice.
But also better in the summer.
Yeah.
Fun and fruity.
I love that.
Yeah. I think we'd be some good drinks on that.
In week 1, things really heated up in the villa. Let's look back at all the pre-love fashion moments brought to you by our headline sponsor, eBay. Joey Essex made a grand entrance, stealing kisses and hearts from 3 of the girls while wearing a stylish Police cos jacket. Mimii looked stunning in her House of CB dress and fell head over heels for Io in his Harley-Davidson sleeveless tee, whilst Jess stunned in I Am Gia and a Juna Watanabe Comme des Garçons. And how can we not mention the iconic Red Party? All the islanders looked incredible in their pre-love fits, with Patsy rocking a red latex dress worn by Georgia Steele in All Stars and Ronnie sporting a red Represent varsity jacket. The islanders are definitely bringing the red hot heat. Check out eBay for villa-inspired fashion and celebrate a summer of pre-loved style. Fashion fit for a second chance. eBay, sponsors of Love Island. So, on to Jess and Ronnie. We've been dying to talk about them. Jess and Ronnie, obviously she said it was deadline day. He had to make his mind up.
I pray for Ronnie to, in a beautiful way, get himself out of the situation he's in and come out on top.
Now, I think we've got different views on this.
Yeah.
What are your views on her giving him the ultimatum?
Okay, so for me, guys, personally, I feel like Jess acted too intense with that in that situation because I think from experience, when you put pressure on a guy or if you be like, work on my time, they don't like that from what I know. I feel like guys like to kind of take their time and decision. I know it's annoying, okay? But unfortunately, with dating, most times guys lead it. Unless you go out your way to, you know, oh, will you be my boyfriend? Most times the guys ask you to be the girlfriend. So it's like you have to just let them and lead it. And I feel like for her, it was kind of a panic mode. She wanted instant answers. She couldn't handle the kitchen anymore, the competition, the back and forth, which I get is annoying. And like I said earlier, if she focused more on Sean and let him have his space, I think he'll be more rattled and thinking, whoa, she's not giving me the attention. Yep. He's just got the ball in his court knowing that Harriet likes him. And now Jess is giving him a deadline as in like, oh, Ross, she likes me that much that she wants something today. And all that's going to do for me, it would push me back. I'd be like, no, I work in my own time because I want to like you because I like you. Me and Indiyah were talking about this, not because you've given me a deadline for me to be like, okay, I need to like her because I've got 24 hours. So
yeah, I agree. And like, obviously I'm no man, so I really don't know how they think and how they work. But again, from experience, I feel like the best way to rattle a guy is not to chase after him, but to match his energy. Yeah. So if you're trying to weigh up your options, I'm going to weigh up mine. And I feel like guys, they don't like to show it, but they do get quite jealous. Now, I feel like if she was to crack on with Sean, Ronnie would be like, oh, maybe I don't have all the time in the world and I really like her. Let me sort of this in. I feel like the whole, oh, you got 24 hours is quite scary. Man or not, if someone said to me, Indiyah, you have 24 hours to decide whether you want to be with me or not, I would go into panic mode and be like, I don't know, let me just drop everything. I don't want you at all.
I do agree with that, but I also think it has gone on for long enough. And if she cracked on with Sean, like her thing has always been the moral high ground. Him saying, you know, you're stringing us both along, you're snogging me in bed and then telling her you've been thinking about her and stuff. If she then actually pursues something with Sean, he can turn around, as he sort of did earlier, but it is a completely different thing, and say, you know, oh, well, you're doing it with Sean, so why can't I chat to Harriet? Because you can chat to Sean. And also, I think it is quite a big gamble to take because there's the chance that Ronnie will think, oh my God, she likes Sean, I must like get her back. There's also the chance that he's like, oh, actually, she's with Sean now, so that means I'm free to go to Harriet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
I agree.
And also, she wants to show him that she is interested.
Yeah, I agree.
And if she suddenly goes aloof, it's like, boys need it spelled out to them. It's like, oh, okay, you're not interested then, I'll just go with Harriet.
When you spell it out, I feel like this kind of spelling out is frightening to them.
They need to man up a bit.
And it's like, whatever. I feel like you have to do like the subtle match. Like, just don't say anything too crazy, but just be like, okay, you know who's doing it perfectly?
Who?
Might be a bit controversial, but Mimii. I think she's doing the perfect job of when Omar came in, stole Ayo from her. She took a step back and let them get on because at the end of the day, we're 2 weeks in and we're here to find love. The roles have reversed and she is still letting Ayo do what he wants because I always believe in as well, people are going to do what they want. So really and truly, she's thinking, well, there's no point in me doing all this and saying, oh, pick me. Who do you like now? Because like you're going to choose who you want. So, you know.
One thing I will say though is, as you know, every day in the villa is like a week. Like the days are long and a lot happens. We say like a day is a long time in Love Island. Like a lot can change in one episode. And this triangle with Jess, Ronnie and Harriet has been going on since like the middle of last week. So for us, it feels like a long time. So imagine how long it feels like for Jess. And Harriet as well. I think also because Jess is so loud and she is so direct, we maybe are focusing on her being sort of like the OG in the Ronnie relationship and then sort of Harriet is the other woman. But for Harriet, it must be really hard as well because she doesn't know where she stands and it must be quite hurtful for her. And I think for both of them, it has gone on and on and on. So I hope that we get some sort of resolution before the week is out.
Myself, I am over it. Like yesterday's episode, I was just like, okay, because it felt like the conversations were getting quite repetitive. Like no one knows where they stand. You know, week 2, like you said, probably feels like week 6 to them. So it's like, make a decision because it's not like we need to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but who is your main focus on? Who are you like, actually, you're the one I like the most and I want to start seeing where this can actually go. All of this between the two, I feel like it's enough.
And I get why they're kind of so uptight about it because I get it is like they're here for love and you know it's a dating show and whatever, but you are in the Love Island villa, you don't have much time. You have about 8 weeks. So by week 2, I know, bombshells will come in and out, but you're not in there to rely on bombshells.
No.
We're together and we're supposed to be pursuing each other. The bombshells are like chance. You know? They might test your relationship. But at the end of the day, I want to be with you. I'm not going to sit here getting to know you, but thinking about a bombshell. Like, you know?
I agree.
So I get why they're trying to like lock things in and be like, okay, well, where do you want to take this?
I agree.
And I think it's the difference between men and women in that Ronnie is very happy to get to know 2 girls the night before last, you know, I don't know how I'm getting away with this. Which I think with the girls, Jess said to Sean, I can't pursue anything with you until I know whether it's on or off with Ronnie. Ooh. And I think it's hard on the girls and Ronnie should respect the fact that the girls are waiting to get to know anyone else for his decision.
But they're not waiting. The boys are not waiting.
But that's what I mean. Like, you know what you just said, Amy? Like, that's how girls are. Like, when I would date, it's so hard for me to date multiple people or think to date someone else because it's like, my focus is on this person or, do you know what? Once this is done, I can actually cut it off and then date someone new. I get it. It's so hard. I don't know how people do it sometimes.
I guess that's how it kind of feels in like Casa Amor in that situation where it's like, I feel like Casa Amor is the closest thing to real life.
Yeah.
Because that is the one time where you're dating, but you're away from your partner.
And you've got more options in this environment.
So when you get into that position where I got to date you, but then it's like, I don't know what my partner's doing, so I don't know if I'm allowed to date you right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, tough. I might have found the one in the villa, but there's only one mobile provider that you should be coupled up with, and that's Sky Mobile. They should be your type on paper because they make it all about me, me, me. And who doesn't want that? Sky Mobile lets you upgrade your phone and plan so you can swap it in for a newer model. You can even do the dumping over text.
You're now single, therefore you have been dumped from the island.
Text PAC to 65075 to switch to Sky Mobile today.
E-I-E-I-O.
I-O. I mean, girls, do we think it's high time that I.O. makes his mind up?
Yeah, I think he's coasting now. I think, how many times I've been in now? 3 days.
Yeah.
So 3 times. He's having his cake and he's eating it too. And it's like, you can't be this greedy anymore. It's hard to watch because you can see Uma's getting frustrated. And granted, it's frustrating. Mimi's a bit more chill, but you can tell like, I'm kind of laying myself. I'm giving it my all.
Yeah.
So just pick. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But all of this is like a repetitive conversation.
Yeah, for me, again, it's just going on and on. I want some new drama.
Yeah.
It's just regurgitated, boys. Come on. Part of me thinks, is he trying to work out the one that he likes more because he's not that bothered about either of them?
Potentially. But I also think if it's taking you 2 weeks to realise whether you like someone or not, are you now playing a game? Are you now trying to find out who is more beneficial for you to stay with? They are both gorgeous girls. So I can get how you can be confused, but they are too stunning for you to not know which one you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Their personalities are so different.
You see why people love Umar and you see why people love Mimii with their such different personalities.
Yeah. But I wonder if now that Umar has been in the bottom...
I was going to say that.
I wonder if that will change things.
Yeah. I low-key feel like I.O. is now seeing, he could probably think, the public might like me and Mimii together.
Yeah.
And then he might think, what would that have been like if I was with Umar and I'd made it very clear I'm going to stick with Umar because I'm not going to lie, that'll play in my head too.
And I wonder, going back to Ronnie and Jess, I wonder if Ronnie will have the self-awareness to realise, okay, I'm in a love triangle.
Yeah.
The public have voted for one of them and haven't voted for the other.
Yeah.
I wonder that it's clearly being received in a certain way.
I don't think Ronnie cares, because the public have put them as one of the favourites. He's going to start thinking, I personally don't think so. I think Ronnie, he's such a lad that does what he wants.
Yeah, he'll
stands on his ground, like, I'm going to do me when I'm ready. So I think even with that decision or with the public voting as their favourites, if he still wants to get to know Harriet, regardless of her being the bottom, I genuinely feel like Ronnie's going to still chat to her with no hesitation.
Like Mimii said, she did say, this can't go on forever. I mean, what would we do if we were in her situation?
I mean, she hasn't got any other potentials in there.
That's
I think
the thing.
Omar, it's not a potential for her.
No.
So I think she's just got to sit tight and wait it out. And if a bombshell comes in for her, amazing. But it's not like she's trying to decide. So I think she's just got to be the dutiful partner in the coupling and do what she needs to do to keep I.O. with her.
Yeah.
And then if she's getting a bit annoyed at this, then when someone else comes in, she can go on her merry way.
Because, I don't want Mimii to ever start feeling like, you're good but not good enough.
Because
when I starts saying this, like, you carry yourself so well. And like, shush.
The
I know I
compliments.
carry myself well.
Yeah.
You still haven't picked me, so not well enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just, it can't go on forever.
No.
But I hope by at least tonight's episode, we have some clarity. And you know what? Sometimes you need that vote to send a rocket up people's behind.
Yeah,
Because I
agree.
feel like it's shaking the tables. Look, 2 people have left. Patsy and Mimii, all good friends of the villa. And I feel like now this will make them realise, okay, look, we're actually not here forever. Like,
and this is a competition
This is a
about
competition.
couples. So all of this friendship talking, whatever, but at the end it comes down to your favourite couple. So if we're seeing who we love and who's strong, that's definitely going to start ticking them okay, it's not fun and games. I need to pick someone and we need to ride this competition to the end.
Because us as the viewers, we love them all.
Yeah.
But we are here to see love.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be umming and ahhing for 4 weeks, we don't want to see it.
No,
we don't want to see it. We want to see the lovers, the real lovers.
And it shows. I felt like yesterday's, when we found out the favourites, it did show because we had Joey and Samantha that haven't been problematic. You know, it's been we've had some moments, but it's been smooth sailing. No dramas, no triangles like that. We've had Nicole and Kieran. He nipped it in the bud so quick. They're there. And then
we've barely seen him all week.
Yeah, we've barely seen him all week. People clearly like Jess with Ronnie, but it shows, you know, we had the top two and then the other top two. Yeah. So come on, guys. We're here for love.
We want to see the realness. We want to see the connections. Even if it doesn't work out, we love the journey.
We love it.
Literally.
Right, can we just take a minute to talk about the ego boost that these boys are having?
Yeah.
Two of them have got two girls fighting over them. None of the boys have really had that much stress.
Yeah.
Do you think they would be as understanding and as patient as the girls have been if the tables were turned?
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, no one likes feeling second best, but I feel like guys, it's a different kind of ego bruise when they are being made to feel second best and they're like competing for a woman.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely not. And I feel like they're loving it. Same way we're having Ronnie saying, oh, can't believe I got away with it. They're smug.
Yeah.
They're absolutely over the moon that they've got women fighting over them and they're getting away with murder, quite frankly.
And I feel like as well, it's kind of because from each triangle, right?
Yeah.
One girl is more chilled and laid back. So I feel like they're loving it. They know that it's that having your cake and eat it. You know, you can, you know, play around a little bit and risk it, but you know, you've got that girl that's still waiting, holding you down. But also, I feel like you said, Indiyah, the ego thing. From watching past Love Islanders, when the boys are tested, whoa, they move mad. They get so in their feels and it's like, then they want the girl like, oh no, I'm not a mug. You need to make a decision and it's time. I need to see some tables shake, okay? I need to see thunder and lightning. I want the boys to be squirming and just an uproar of guys wanting the girls and they having options because right now the girls don't have much options, but the guys have options.
But I feel like that's just a girl thing. I feel like the boys will always be sport for choice because us ladies, we're just so gorgeous.
I think so. In previous seasons, we've seen people who maybe were in the position of Io or Ronnie say, actually, to be respectful to everyone, I'm going to go and sleep outside because I need to decide between the two of you.
Yeah.
They're like literally just snogging the girl they're in bed with and then taking the other one to like different locations in the villa complex to snog them as well. Like they're literally taking liberties and it needs to change.
That's literally, we had Io speaking to Jess in the Hideaway Retreat saying, oh, you know what? You know, if I'm intimate with one, I can't be intimate with the other. And it's sort of like, well, no. You can't.
You can't.
That's not what you do. You're not intimate with two people at once.
Yeah.
So I think the boys, they're having a good time, but they're treating it like a party holiday.
Yeah, like just lads holiday. Like you're on Love Island. Like what's going on?
I don't think they realise it's 8 weeks long. They're not going to go home at the end of this week and never see these girls again. Maybe add them on Instagram. Do you know what I mean?
You're actually looking for a lifelong partner here, like not a summer fling.
That is it for this morning. Thank you again, Mariam. And this is my last day this week. From tomorrow, you will have Chris Taylor and maybe a little surprise on Friday. I'm going to enjoy my 2 days off, but thank you so much for joining us so far this week.
Yep, and guys, make sure you subscribe so you get a fresh episode every morning. And if you love the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and a comment down below. See you.
Bye.